really bad choice. The reason I say that is because they had the chance to get Sammy Watkins. He led the rookies in receiving, or actually, well, it was right behind Odell Beckham, but who saw Odell Beckham like that? But anyways, they needed to get Sammy Watkins, and they even had the chance to even pick up Odell freaking Beckham last year, so they screwed up there. But they need a wide receiver. They need wide receivers. Tavon Austin, I still believe in him. I still believe he's going to make those highlight catches and runs they did back in college. He can do that, but he needs to be not the number one receiver, definitely, or the number two. He's got to be 3 or 4. And I'm not saying that by talent-wise. I'm somewhat talent, but mainly because you need those possession guys out there. Someone, the DBs, all right, we got to watch out for this guy because he can make some of those tough catches. And that way, they got that open space for Tavon Austin to get open, and as well as Stedman Bailey, both of those speedy guys. They can be your slot guys on either side. You got Nick Foles. You got a starting quarterback that should really stay healthy and, throw to the right people. And you don't have to worry about your third or fourth string quarterback being your starter now. So look for that offense to get up a little bit. With the 11th overall pick, the Minnesota Vikings state their case and say, you know what? It's time. It's time to move on. No trade just yet, but they select with the 11th overall pick running back Melvin Gordon out of Wisconsin. The reason I picked, said him and over Todd Gurley is because, one, injury issues. We got to make sure we find out about Todd Gurley. And also, they need a running back because they're most likely going to trade Adrian Peterson. They know they can get him out somewhere else and might even get something out of it. And the reason I say they trade after the draft, I know that sounds weird. Why not get a picks now? They might do it. But for the mock draft purposes, I really just want to have that San Diego and Tennessee pick as the only trades. Obviously there will be trades late in the draft possibly, but I really just want to just make that one trade, and that was it, and just go in order from there. But they're ready to move on. They get Melvin Gordon, a guy that's been in that colder climate. Georgia's a lot different than Wisconsin. And Melvin Gordon, I mean, he's not to say he's less of a talent than Todd Gurley, because he's obviously stayed healthy and he's a very powerful running back, but has the speed as well. A lot of remindings of Jamal Charles, not because they wore 25 and had dreadlocks, but if you look at their play style, they do almost the exact same thing. Minnesota, they move up, they get Melvin Gordon. With the 12th overall pick, the Cleveland Browns, they don't trade up again. They select defensive tackle Danny Shelton out of Washington. They get that big body defensive tackle to help them, and I think it's perfect for them to get him because it improves that defensive line, especially right in the nose, to really stop the run. And that Browns defense, it's something. They got some young linebackers out there. Their DBs are getting a little bit better. They need some help at the safety position, and we'll have to look at that a little bit later. I know Trey Wayans is there at the cornerback spot, but really think you plug in that defensive line, you make your defensive line better, you put pressure on that offense. That quarterback, any quarterback, if they feel under pressure, majority of them, they're going to throw it away or throw it in a bad spot. And the cornerbacks they have can really step up and make the plays and intercept that ball and create some turnovers. Browns defense, you prove that defensive line, you're going to have a solid defense over there. With the 13th overall pick, the New Orleans Saints select cornerback Trey Wayans. They get him. They need some help all over the defensive spot, and to get a shutdown corner like Trey Wayans, who's really built up a hype. I love his work ethic. I love watching some of the short little documentaries they have of him and reading the stories about him. This guy is really humbled. He just stays the earth, and when I say that, he focuses on what he's doing. He doesn't get caught up or anything, and this work ethic is one of the best in the draft right now. Saints cannot go wrong with Trey Wayans at all. Shut down corner. It's going to be able to help them going against the Panthers, weak receivers, going against Falcons and with Julio Jones, and seeing what they do with the wide receiver spots. And also Tampa Bay got to shut down Mike Evans and a couple other their wide receivers. So Saints getting a Trey Waynes, solid pickup for them. Miami selects with the 14th overall pick offensive tackle Andrus Peat. And actually, I'm going to change that pick. I'm going to change it. I just realized I didn't have a star player in here. And I'm going to change it, especially because of the news about Dion Jordan. We are going to change this pick. We're changing it right now. Whoops. Can't spell. Miami selects. What? No, I'm dumb. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to have to edit this part out. No. Heck no. They're going to keep Andrus Peat. I was about to put Shane Ray, but then I realized, just thinking about the article, they already have depth at the defensive end position. So never mind. They're going to keep Andrus Peat, offensive tackle from Stanford. Let's go with that. They need to build up that offensive line, give Tannehill some more time, get to his receivers. They got Jarvis Landry. He's going to be one of the best receivers in the league a few years from now, but it's definitely going to take that next step this upcoming season in 2015. Got to give him some time. Mike Wallace is gone. Got to do something. San Francisco selects defensive end / defensive tackle Eric Armstead. They lost a lot of positions at defense, and those guys, if they can just, especially at the linebacker spot, you got 3 linebackers gone just like that. You got Navarro Bowman, you got Patrick Willis, and you got that other guy who just quit out of nowhere. You got to have something. And that defensive line is to be able to put more focus on that defensive line and have some, other guys at linebacker later in the draft. Then, it helps your defense out having that force of a defensive line. That's what I'm trying to get to. So, Eric Armstead for the San Francisco 49ers. With the 16th overall pick, the Houston Texans select wide receiver Bashad Perriman out of University of Central Florida. They need wide receiving help. That's it. That's plain and simple. They don't really have any big receivers. Andre Johnson is gone. Even if he was still there, they still need help with that wide receiving position. So, yeah, it's just plain and simple. I mean, Devontae Parker's gone, of course, by the 16th overall pick. Cooper and Kevin White are both gone. They weren't even projected to be that low. But they need some help. Wide receiver spot. Help whoever starts at quarterback for them. And Rashad Perriman is the guy. And he's also a big dude, so and he's got some speed. So look for, of course he has some speed. Just see what his 40 time was. Unbelievable. With the 17th overall pick, the San Diego Chargers still keep that pick. And they select running back Todd Gurley. He is off the board now, and he is going to the San Diego Chargers to be with his new teammate and Marcus Mariota. It's time. The Chargers need a running back. I just don't believe Danny Woodhead can be that number 1 down running back game after game, play after play. I mean, he's great for the screens, catching out of the backfield, running those sweeps or whatever, especially if when we have Marcus Mariota, it'd be perfect for him. But he's not your everyday running back, your every down running back. Neither is Brandon Oliver. He's that short, powerful guy, has a little bit of speed on him, kind of like Darren Sproles looking, even though he doesn't like that comparison. But you wear the same number and you're the same size, dude. It's not going to help. And with Ryan Matthews, thankfully gone. We didn't need him anymore. And who else? Do we have another running back? Oh, Donald Brown. God, the worst. The absolutely worst signing the Chargers have made in recent years. None of those guys can be your every down running back. They help each other out. Other than Donald Brown, he does nothing right. Can't even block for a punter. Thanks a lot. But Todd Gurley can do everything right. He can return kicks, as we all saw. Can't stay healthy that much, but we'll just have to see. I believe the Chargers will take a chance on him. They get him, and that offense is set fire. Get some receivers, build that offensive line a little bit more, even though I really feel comfortable at the offensive line right now. If we had to go game 1 and we had Mariota and we had Gurley, the receivers we got, I feel a little bit more confident, especially in that offensive line with Orlando Franklin signed. I think it's good. I think it's good. We don't have to draft an offensive lineman in the first round. And I swear, if the Chargers don't even make the trade and they draft an offensive lineman, a 17th overall pick, and don't get a running back if they're not available or if they're available, it doesn't matter who's available. If we draft a freaking offensive lineman, I'm going to lose it. I hate drafting offensive linemen in the first round, even though some look at Zach Martin for the Cowboys, made that offensive line dream team. I'm just saying I do not want to see an offensive lineman for the Chargers first round. Moving on, the Kansas City Chiefs with the 18th overall pick select offensive tackle Eric Flowers. And I know it comes to a shock for some and saying, why not a wide receiver? They can wait. They can get some wide receivers, mid-round draft pick that can do the job and build some depth for them and actually score a touchdown. But you get some offensive line to help. Denver Broncos defense getting a little bit better. Chargers, who knows? Big question mark. Raiders obviously have a solid defense, or trying to build a solid defense. Get that offensive line up, especially if you want to make it to the playoffs and be playing the Patriots and so forth like that. Build that offensive line up. Get Eric Smith. Can't even talk. Alex Smith some time. The 19th overall pick, the Cleveland Browns come back around, and this time they pick wide receiver. I normally get some fire, especially right after I said this about Kansas City. Dorial Green Beckham. And the reason I go with them, you're thinking, don't they want to stay away from trouble? They're dealing with Johnny Football. They dealt with Josh Gordon. Why do you want to get another guy that has character issues? I truly believe that is in the past for Dorial Green Beckham. I truly do. Same thing with him and Trey Waynes. Their work ethic is incredible. I really feel Dorial Green Beckham is going to be all right. He doesn't need people to worry about his off-the-field situations anymore. Once this happened, I believe it's going to change everything for him, especially be in a hype city with Cleveland. This would be – I know every Browns fan would go crazy to have Dorial Green Beckham, to have him help that wide receiver spot. You filled your defensive line spot. Get Dorial Green Beckham, a tall 6'6", big body receiver. Go up and get it. Manziel to Beckham, I guarantee you're going to love it. Guarantee it. Let's make it happen, Cleveland. God, I swear I sound like a Browns fan right now. With the 20th overall pick, the Philadelphia Eagles select cornerback Byron Jones. It's a good thing for them to get some cornerback help because they just absolutely suck. They do get Byron Maxwell from Seattle, but they have a little bit of depth. Byron Jones has made up his ground from this offseason and late in the year at UConn. Should be a great pickup for Philadelphia to fill that defensive backfield and add some depth. With the 21st overall pick, the Cincinnati Bengals select defensive end / outside linebacker Randy Gregory out of Nebraska. They get a big guy, make some noise out there. I think it'd be perfect for them, and they're going to love it. They're going to love it. With the 22nd overall pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers select defensive tackle Malcolm Brown out of the University of Texas. Big guy. Again, Steelers, they have defensive issues. And I know a lot of people are going to say, why not pick, a DB? Reason is, again, the same thing. And maybe it's just my philosophy and what I believe is the build up that defensive line and that pass rush. You make the quarterback feel uncomfortable. Any NFL cornerback is going to be able to jump that route and pick it off. Or, if it's tipped up and quarterback just feels rattled, throws it anywhere, he's going to make the mistakes for the DBs. That's just what I feel. Mainly, I look back and I look at past some of the, again, I'm going to have to relate a lot of this to the Chargers, but back in 2007, Chargers didn't really have a lot of big DBs out there, name-wise. We had Quentin Jammer and Antonio Cromartie, great guys at that time. But it was all about that pass rush. You know, Sean Merriman